almost over. The latest voting numbers from Victoria County coming up. Authorities are looking into the death of a man reported in Victoria Sunday. We have the latest. And a public hearing in Goliad County on the future of the Fannin Monument. We have the results of the meeting.
Continuing warm and humid with temperatures in the mid-70s currently. Not falling too much more than that for the overnight lows. What about tomorrow and the beginning of rain chances later this week? Got you covered coming up in the full forecast.
In the 2A, 5A area, softball playoffs begin this Thursday night. We'll preview all the games coming up. Sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Shauna Curry has the night off. Early voting in Victoria for the May 3rd election continued today. 409 people voted in person today for a total of 1,456 through 5 days. 97 early votes came in by mail, 261 mail-in votes total, 1,717 total votes cast. That's 3.3% of Victoria County registered voters. In Victoria, voters will decide on a venue tax that would fund a portion of revenue needed for community center renovations. If passed, the venue tax will create a new 5% vehicle rental tax and raise the hotel occupancy tax from 7 to 9%. The renovations to the community center would include a new event arena, and it upgrades the existing building. Last week, the American Car Rental Association sent out a mailer encouraging people to vote no on this Proposition A, saying it raises unnecessary funds for what they called vanity projects and does nothing for roads or public safety. Victoria voters will also decide the mayoral race and 2 Victoria ISD school board seats. Bloomington residents will be voting whether or not to incorporate the town. Early voting is at the Dr. Patty Dodson Public Health Center ending Tuesday. You can vote there or at the Bloomington Volunteer Fire Department from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. To see the list of all local races, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. Once again, early voting ends tomorrow. Election Day is this Saturday, May 3rd. Victoria police are looking into the death of a 28-year-old man found at a home Sunday morning. Officers were called to the 1400 block of Mimosa Avenue for a welfare check where they found the body of Sostenes Martinez. An autopsy was ordered, but police have not shared further details. They say it's an active investigation. A Victoria man faces charges of assaulting a peace officer. Victoria police Sunday were called to a home in the 4600 block of North Bend Jordan Street in response to an assault. An investigation showed there was an assault reportedly by 24-year-old Jonathan Rojas. While Rojas was being placed under arrest, he is accused of assaulting an officer. At the Victoria County Jail, Rojas reportedly assaulted a Victoria County deputy. Rojas faces 5 total charges. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $65,500 bond. A West Central Texas school principal is indicted on a charge of continuous sexual abuse of a child under the age of 14. Authorities say 58-year-old Kenneth Wallace was tracked from his home in Valera and arrested in Cuero on April 11th. The indictment shows the allegations against him happened between November 2022 and December 2024. Wallace worked in several Texas school districts and was most recently listed as principal at Panther Creek Consolidated ISD. He's out on bond and was ordered to have no contact with children. The district has not responded to our request for comment. A discussion surrounding the sale of a historical marker is sweeping through Goliad. Today, residents had their say in front of the commissioners. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting joined us now with an update. Trenton?
Thank you, Don. Residents heard a presentation from Texas Historical Commission Executive Director Joseph Bell. He showed them renderings of THC's vision for the monument if they were given ownership by the county. There were still residents who had concerns about the sale, not wanting to put a dollar amount to the names of the men who died at the Goliad massacre. While there is no proposal in writing, it's understood that $1 million would be involved with the transfer. Bell says THC wants to honor the names of those who sacrificed their lives.
And we talked about all the improvements that we would like to see, kind of looking at other historic sites around the nation and how they honor these sacred sites.
Bell says there are more state funds available if the monument is owned by the state. And County Judge Mike Bennett says the process will continue with more town halls and presentations with THC before the county comes to a decision. Don, back to you.
Trent, thank you. The DeWitt County Commissioners Court voted to lift the burn ban starting tomorrow morning at 6. The burn ban was put in March 24th. The commissioners feel it's not a public safety hazard to do outdoor burning in the unincorporated areas of DeWitt County. Time to check on our weather, and let's go to Trey Mining with the first look at the forecast. So Trey, the people in DeWitt County feel that they've had enough rain to take off the burn ban. Are they getting more this week?
There will be some chances coming up by midweek later on in the week, which will help to increase the level of moisture in the ground, so that's a little bit better, but still a lot of dry vegetation out there. Be careful burning if you have to on the outside. 86 degrees was the official high in Victoria today, low 72 degrees, above normal for a normal high and low in the state. And what's under normal big time is our rainfall. Over 1.5 inches for the year so far under normal, about 1.5 inches or so for the month under normal. So we do need the rain around here. There are some rain chances. We'll tell you when they are coming up later on in the full 7-day outlook. Don?
Trey, thank you. President Trump announced the creation of a FEMA Review Council in order to evaluate and reform the current emergency management system in the U.S. One of the board members is Governor Greg Abbott. The president promoted a restructuring of FEMA, putting some of his trusted allies in charge, saying it would be a solution to federal inefficiencies. Tuesday afternoon, the Calhoun County ISD Board will hold a special meeting over a proposal to grant a tax break of over $248 million to ExxonMobil. The tax break is tied to ExxonMobil's plan to build a new petrochemical plant called an ethane cracker in Calhoun County near the Formosa Plastics plant. In return for the $248 million in tax breaks, ExxonMobil proposes to create 300 jobs, meaning the agreement would cost Texas taxpayers over $828,000 for every job promised. The meeting time is set for 5 p.m. Students in the nursery ISD will have a different path through later school grades. This comes after a new agreement with Victoria ISD. The nursery ISD serves students through 6th grade. After that, students have traditionally moved on to the Cuero ISD or another district chosen by their parents. When Cuero ISD decided not to renew its automatic transfer agreement, Nursery ISD turned to Victoria ISD. The two districts have now finalized a new partnership. Superintendent Dr. Larry Gajewski says this is a great time to team up with Victoria, and he's focused on giving students more opportunities. He believes every child can learn, and every family deserves a door to open. The agreement is reviewed each year with a memorandum of understanding guiding the transfer process. His main goal is making sure students have a clear path to learning and that parents have a voice in where their child goes to school.
We care about our kids holistically. We want to ensure that they have the opportunity to go out and perform.
The nursery ISD will go up to 7th grade this upcoming school year. With this partnership, Victoria ISD will accept students in grades 8 through 12 starting in the 2025-2026 school year. Cardinals today set May 7th as the start date for the conclave to elect Pope Francis's successor. This delays the secret voting so they can get to know one another better and find consensus on a candidate before they are sequestered in the Sistine Chapel. The Cardinals gave themselves extra time to speak in more informal sessions. Only Cardinals under 80 are eligible to vote. Cardinal Farrell, formerly of Dallas, will lead the Catholic Church until a new pope is elected. Former Houston Cardinal DiNardo will get to vote on the new pope. For today's viewer poll, we're asking how closely will you be following the conclave to elect the next pope? Very closely, or somewhat, or not at all? Now, most of today, not at all has been in the lead, but voters are now going 42% for somewhat. Not at all is not that far back. At 38%, a close race. Go to crossroadstoday.com to let us know how you feel about it, and we thank you for voting. Lufkin police are searching for a person accused of putting marijuana in plastic eggs and placing them in 3 city parks. 4 warrants were issued for Avante Nicholson, 3 of which are for delivery of marijuana in a drug-free zone. The 4th warrant is a state jail felony for delivery of marijuana. 4 of the eggs were found by police, but the 5th egg was found by a man and his granddaughter, who took it to the police. Anyone with information about Nicholson's location is asked to call Crime Stoppers. The Texas House is expected to vote on a bill that would exempt law enforcement officers from being charged with deadly conduct for actions taken in the line of duty. The state Senate approved a nearly identical bill earlier this month. To read the full Texas Tribune article, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. The Uvalde Strong Act passed in the Texas House today. House Bill 33 establishes a statewide active shooter protocol. The legislation honors the victims of the Robb Elementary School shooting in Uvalde almost 3 years ago. State Representative Don McLaughlin, the bill's author and former Uvalde mayor, said the bill proposes that law enforcement train alongside school districts to better prepare for active shooter incidents. It would create a clear and unified statewide response plan. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. President Trump's latest executive order might cause changes on major highways. Also ahead, a major building on the Florida State University campus reopens after a fatal shooting there. Florida State University reopened the Student Union building today, nearly 2 weeks after a gunman killed 2 adults and shot 5 students. Hundreds of students and other members of the FSU community gathered at what is dubbed the living room of campus for the opening event, where they were greeted with tons of free food, free drinks, games, and opportunities to write heartfelt messages. In a social media post on the day of Canada's election, President Trump suggested that Canadians should vote for him in order for Canada to become the 51st state. This comes as some polls and some stock market readings are not good for the president.
Ahead of President Trump's first 100 days in office, the 3 major indexes ending the day mixed at the closing bell. As the economy sits front and center for voters, Trump has now presided over the worst first 100 days in the stock market since Richard Nixon. And a new ABC News Washington Post Ipsos poll shows the president's approval rating is just 39%.
Starting on day 1, we will end inflation.
We will end inflation and we will make America affordable again.
And 72% of voters say they think it's very or somewhat likely the president's policies will cause a recession in the short term. President Trump's tariffs leading to global uncertainty. His 145% tariffs on China remain in place. As for immigration, the other top issue for voters, the president getting his highest marks. 46% of Americans approve of his immigration policies, but 48% say his actions deporting undocumented migrants have gone too far. Border czar Tom Homan defending how they've handled mass deportations after 3 children who were U.S. citizens ages 2, 4, and 7 were deported to Honduras along with their mothers.
What we did is remove children with their mothers who requested the children depart with them. This was a parental decision. Parenting 101. Having a U.S. citizen child does not make you immune from our laws.
And on Russia's invasion of Ukraine during the campaign trail, Trump promised to end the war, but the war still raging. 46% of voters said Trump's approach to Russia is too friendly. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
President Trump signed an executive order Monday requiring federal authorities to enforce existing English proficiency rules for commercial truck drivers. The order highlights concerns that communication problems between drivers and officials pose a public safety risk. It directs the Department of Transportation to erase previous guidance that softened enforcement and to issue stricter inspection procedures. Traffic fatalities are rising, and pedestrians are at greater risk than ever before. New data from the CDC shows that. Experts say simple changes could save thousands of lives each year.
In the U.S., nearly 40,000 people die in car crashes every year. According to recent findings from the CDC, overall deaths related to traffic incidents increased by almost 23% between the years of 2013 and 2022. During that same time period, the CDC says the number of pedestrians who died after being hit by a vehicle increased by about 50%. While the U.S. has seen a rise in car-related deaths, other countries have experienced the opposite, decreasing death rates. Experts believe that the increase in deaths in the U.S. could be the result of new car and roadway designs that prioritize appearance and speed over safety. According to the CDC, using a tool called the SAFE system that emphasizes safe crossing zones, consistent street lighting, and speed monitoring could help protect both drivers and pedestrians. When driving, make sure to follow all traffic laws, watch for pedestrians and other cars, and be especially careful at intersections. As a pedestrian, only cross streets at crosswalks, pay attention to your surroundings, and be aware of all traffic laws as well. With this Medical Minute, I'm Rena Roy.
And once again, severe weather again in western Texas currently. So tornado watches near Wichita Falls and near Midland, Odessa area. There's some big storms there in Oklahoma causing a tornado. The last report there in southwest Oklahoma City. For us here, pretty much on the quiet side, definitely warm and humid. But the rain chance will be increasing for our area. What days would have the best rain chances coming up? I'll let you know in the 407 Outlook. Good evening, good evening. Trey Mining here, and the high temperatures for the next few days have been consistent and will continue to be that way, above normal. Our normal high on this date here, last few days here in this week, is about 83, 84 degrees, and it'll be in the upper 80s, near 9 degrees each day, even though we have a pretty good amount of cloud cover to cover the atmosphere, try to keep us cool, but not really doing too much of a job with that because the clouds are still very high in the atmosphere. And that southerly wind off the Gulf, keeping the humidity quite high here, along with the areas of cloud cover here. Storms in the Mexican mountains moving into areas near Del Rio, and bigger weather to the west of that, near Midland, Odessa, with severe weather likelihood there with tornado watch in effect for that area. But for us here, keeping on the quiet side, a few rain showers earlier up there near the hill country north of San Antonio, north of about Johnson City or so. Around here, a few sprinkles there near Hallettsville, and that's pretty much all she wrote for the rain for now. But that'll be increasing, thankfully, next few days. Temperatures for highs, we're in the mid-80s, as you know, and they will cool off in the 70s coming up by the early morning hours. Definitely a warm and humid feel, cloud covered in the morning hours, giving way to partly cloudy skies with highs in the mid-80s. Near 90 degrees out in the western parts of the crossroads of Beeville to Karnes City and points to the west from there. So definitely running the air conditioners for the next few days down the road like you have been seeing and are experiencing around here. That'll be the case also for Wednesday. A weak front will make its way into the region by about Tuesday, Wednesday or so. A very weak front, not really affecting the temperatures too much, but it had one positive aspect. It'll be a lifting mechanism to bring that moisture higher in the atmosphere and cause a few rain showers to pop up here and there, maybe a thunderstorm or two. So introducing some rain chances coming up by the middle part of next week, of this week I should say. I'll show you that here momentarily. The southerly wind still continuing, dying off on the winds a little bit in the overnight hours with the loss of daytime heat. And then we'll get the winds going again for 20 mile per hour or so gusts, higher gusts than that in the afternoon. That'll continue for the rest of the week, keeping that moisture in place. And looking at the weather model here, most of the precipitation has been down in western Texas and will continue to be that way for the rest of the night tonight until your day on Tuesday. But notice by the time we get to Wednesday, a little bit more of a rain chance around here coming up for Wednesday morning and lasting through your day on Wednesday afternoon into your day on Thursday, with the frontal system getting close to us and pretty much stalling out over the region for the rest of the week, this week, second half of the week into the weekend. So we'll keep some rain chance in our forecast area here during that time period. Not anything too widespread, nothing severe, anything of that nature, but definitely some rain chances, kind of hit and miss during that time of the week. Port Lavaca, cloudy skies throughout the early morning hours. High temperatures in the mid-80s by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, with gusty winds near 20 to 25 mile per hour with higher gusts. And Cuero, cloudy skies as well, early morning hours that is, with highs in the mid-80s by 3 o'clock with partly cloudy conditions. And for Victoria, cloudy skies early morning hours again, like everywhere else in the crossroads, pretty much the same. 85 degrees for the daytime high by about 3 o'clock or so, 20, 25 mile per hour sustained winds. Extended forecast for us here, keeping it on the warm side above normal temperatures. Lows near 70 degrees, the 60s are for lows coming up by the end of the week behind the front. Best rain chances with the front on Friday and Saturday, and reducing somewhat, but still pretty prevalent for Sunday and Monday, with highs in the 80s to near 90 degrees. It's definitely hot. Keep your umbrella handy for the next few days down the road for some rain chances around here. Don't get caught without an umbrella. Don't want to get yourself wet or anything like that. Just be prepared. Lows near 70 degrees as well. And take a look at this. This is the QR code. Get your smartphone, scan the code, see right there. They'll take you to a web page. You can download our app, News, Weather, and Sports at your fingertips. Very easy, convenient, free of charge. Having your phone be connected with us. And somebody that knows the maximum amount of sports is Mr. Max Williams.
Absolutely, Trey. I know all the sports, right? That's what I do for. Well, that's what I get paid for. But, speaking of getting paid for, right, tonight at Riverside Park, we had a win or go home game between Destro and Yoakum Baseball in order to make the playoffs. So, who will advance? I'll tell you in a few moments in sport. Good evening here, Crossroads. This week we have a busy week of high school sports here at the Crossroads with girls golf state tournament, state track. Track Maryland's going to be out there in Austin. Also the first round of the boys baseball playoffs. Well, we also have the second round action of softball playoffs here starting up on Thursday. And we're start there in the 2A, 3A ranks for the playoffs with the Shining Lady Comanches facing the Falls City Beavers. That's going to start Thursday at May 1st at 5 p.m. with game 2 being about 30 minutes after that game. And all those games we played at Seguin Matador Stadium there out in Seguin. And Ganado Madians are going to face Three Rivers Bulldogs Thursday, May 1st at 6 p.m. with game 2 on Friday at 6 at Sinton High School. And then game 3 will be after that if needed there as well there out for Ganado. And then in 3 at the Oakland Bulldogs after they upset the Goliad last week. They face the Hondo Owls, and that, again, still do not know a destination and time for that. Probably will figure that out there tomorrow. Then for Houts with Lady Bremas, they face the Jordanson Saguas Thursday at 6. Then they'll also at Jordanson High School. Then game 2 will be Friday at 5 p.m. at Houtsville High School. And then for Tidehaven Tigerettes, they face Cotulla Cowgirls for game 1 Friday, May 2nd there at 7 p.m. with game 2 being Saturday, May 3rd at 3 o'clock. And then the game 3, if needed, will be there after that one. They'll be at the Kennedy Sports Complex. Now over to 4A and 5A teams still remaining. First, we got El Campo Lady Birds facing Toulouse Midway Cherokees. Game 1 will be Thursday at 6 p.m. there at Toulouse Midway High School. And then game 2 will be Friday at 6 p.m. at El Campo High School. Then the Cuero Lady Gobblers, they face the Wimberley Texans in second round action, with game 1 being there Thursday at 6:30 p.m. at Wimberley High School. And then game 2 will be Friday at 6:30 at Cuero High School. And then finally out there in 5A, Victoria West Warriors face the Eastview Patriots with game 1 Thursday at 7 p.m. and then game 2 on Friday at 5 p.m. That'll be game 3 if needed. There will be also there on Friday. All those games will be at Marion High School, and then Victoria East will face the Hendrickson Hawks Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Games 2 and 3 Friday at 5. All those games will be at Weimar High School. Now all that for softball, but also today we had day 1 of the girls golf state championships held around the Austin area. First, what about 3A? We had at the Jimmy Clay Golf Course in Austin. Third place team from regionals there a couple weeks ago in the Industrial Cobras. They're currently right now in 7th place as a team, with former athlete of the week Pacey Rowe leading the way at the individual scoring for the Cobras with 18 over par, and then junior Shelby Pletcher is right behind her at 19 over par. But Yoakum, they have one individual placer that got there to state, and Emma Fling. She's 26 over par after day 1. And again, see what happens here in day 2 of the girls 3A Star Tournament out there in Austin tomorrow afternoon. Now, speaking of Industrial, they played at Riverside Stadium tonight versus the Yoakum Bulldogs, and a winner going to the playoffs and the loser going home matchup for Industrial. They got the bats going in the second inning. They got 4 runs to make it up 4-0 early. They would add another one when I got there around the 4th or 5th inning to make it 5-0. And Yoakum would get only 1 run after that in Industrial. They were currently 4th going into this game. And then again, Yoakum tied it up for that tiebreaker game. So Industrial will be going to the playoffs winning 5-1, and Yoakum will be going home. That makes in that region Hallettsville, Tidehaven, Columbus, and Industrial from 3A Region 4 District 25. Going to the playoffs. Now from high school sports to some college sports, where UHV baseball is preparing to travel to Sterlington, Louisiana, play first round action of the Red Bear Athletic Conference Tournament versus Southwest Mustangs. And UHV heads into the postseason 37-13 overall and 22-8 in conference play. And Red Bear Athletic Pitcher of the Week, Julian Garcia, knows this team is special, and they know they got to be locked in for the postseason.
We had a great regular season. I couldn't be more proud of the guys. We set a school record. 3-0 this year against Division I teams, and it was just overall a special season. But we're far from done, and we have, like I said, all of our most important baseball in front of us. So we're locked in and ready for that.
Now Garcia got that honor being pitcher of the week because he had 10 Ks versus LSU Alexandria, and also shout out UHV softball player Audrey Cias, finishing off getting also Red Bear Athletic Pitcher of the Week honors for softball team, helping the Lady Jaguars win over Hudson Tilliston this past weekend. So the softball team will face Texas University San Antonio on at Thursday there in Louisiana as well. That's going to do it here in sports. Don, back to you.
Max, thank you, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus a speedboat showing all too well how much speed it really has. Look at it go! A speed record attempt on the water turned into a wild ride. An 8,000 horsepower speedboat over 200 miles an hour on Lake Havasu in Arizona, but instead of setting a record, it went airborne, flipping several times before crashing down. Video shows the boat's operators bracing for impact inside the cockpit. Both were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries and are expected to be okay. No word yet if they hit their speed goal, but they sure caught some air. Over the weekend, Miami was the site for a Bad Bunny look-alike contest. It was part of an event at Roberto Clemente Park that was a celebration of Puerto Rican culture. The goal is to be judged and crowned as the best Bad Bunny in the Miami area. Kevin Amaro was announced as the winner. The competition was tough because participants needed to have the Boricua accent just right, the slang, and know Bad Bunny's song, which leaves me out of the contest because I don't know Bad Bunny's song.
You're not the only one.
Yeah.
No, I'm not the only one.
Hey,
well, we'll try for
like
another.
I said, I'm probably the only one that knows some of his songs and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, he's pretty cool overall.
Yeah,
I mean, I
cool.
had a couple friends, been to a couple concerts, so absolutely.
Now, there's Bad Bunny. Now, is a bad weather coming? Would you consider rain? Because we kind of need the rain.
We consider rain good weather for us.
Okay.
We do need the rainfall around here, and it's coming in the forecast. Starting tomorrow with maybe an isolated rain shower or two here and there. Increasing it a little bit more by Thursday, especially on Friday and Saturday as the front gets closer to us, with highs in the 80s throughout the time period, lows near 70 degrees. Hopefully getting some good rain chances by Friday and Saturday. You'll fill up a little bit on their needed rain. Lasting through the weekend with the front stalling over the area. So carry umbrella with you after about Wednesday or so, and still continue to stay cool. It's on the hot side.
Thank you, Trey. And finally tonight, it's time to rock out. We now know the names of the artists who will be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame later this year. A total of 7 artists are part of this year's class. They are Chubby Checker. Finally, Chubby Checker is
It's
in.
about time.
65 years after the twist.
Persistence
Anyway,
pays off.
Cyndi Lauper, Outkast, Soundgarden, The White Stripes, Bad Company, and Joe Cocker. The induction ceremony will take place in Los Angeles in November. Artists become eligible for nomination if it has been at least 25 years since they released their first commercial recording, and the case of Chubby, at least 65 years after he had his first #1. It's about time.
I mean, I was just going to say, that's a great list right there.
Oh, that's
Great
fantastic.
Joe
list.
Cocker as well. He's been around a day or two.
Absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. Join 25 News Now Sunrise, 5 a.m. Jimmy Kimmel Live starts now.